Black Stephenson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. So, under close supervision by the whips, I've been told to keep this speech quite short. So, no 25 minutes from me, I'm afraid. Hard-working British people are losing their jobs. And is it any wonder when every policy this government announces seems designed to make it harder for British people to do the right thing, create jobs and grow our economy? A tax on job creation, billions of pounds in extra costs through the Employment Rights Bill, a family business tax, pushing entrepreneurs and job creators elsewhere. You cannot grow an economy through sheer force of will alone. You need to give the people who build the businesses that employ the workers who power the economy the best possible environment to thrive. We've seen what happens to hard-working people under this government in my constituency of Mid-Bedfordshire. Constituents who were part of a 120-year proud manufacturing history at the Stellantis plant in Luton now find themselves out of work just a few months after the policies of this government. Hard-working publicans in my constituency are now very sadly closing their doors because higher costs and crippling regulatory burdens being applied from this government. And I know not many members have spoken about pubs, but they're a central part to many of our communities. And pubs in my community are closing their doors. That means fewer opportunities for younger people to get their first job in our rural areas, which is exactly my experience growing up in North West Hampshire. That means less money for our local farmers and producers in the supply chain, damaging our rural economy. And it means the heart of two rural communities, in my case, in my constituency, being ripped out. And this is happening up and down the country, with UK hospitality confirming that 70% of hospitality businesses expect to reduce employment, and 1 in 7 planning to close at least one site. Worst of all, Madam Deputy Speaker, this government's economic policy is hammering our hospices and charities, and I know members certainly on this side have spoken passionately, not just today but in previous months, about the importance of the charitable and hospice sector. The hospices and charities who've relied on the British public's unending goodwill and generosity to keep going through some tough years over the pandemic, but who can no longer rely on the goodwill of their government. The only jobs that seem to be safe from Labour's tax hikes are in the new quangos being rapidly established to run our energy, our railways and the rest of our country, all while the government announces review after review into who is spending all the government's money. Madam Deputy Speaker, I said I'd keep it short, so I will wind up so that we can move on. The tax rises that we all know are coming to pay for the expanding state and to pay the debt that the government is running up now will strangle any meagre growth that the government currently plans to nurture. The government's plan for growth are a mirage. Huge government spending will only supplant private investment. The National Wealth Fund investment won't create any wealth. I know we haven't spoken about the National Wealth Fund today, but the National Wealth Fund will not create any wealth. So far, the average National Wealth Fund investment since July 2024 has cost nearly £1.5 million per job created. It is a sad state of affairs. This government talks up its plans for growth, but fails to back the people who grow the economy. We can see from economic history that the larger the government, the smaller the economic growth. The government is putting big government over job creators and entrepreneurs. Confidence is being undermined, and that is resulting in rising unemployment, especially for our young people. It is time for something to change, Madam Deputy Speaker. The government needs to urgently change course to support the aspiration, hard work and risk-taking we all need to create the jobs and the prosperity that working people throughout Britain deserve. Yeah.